Okay. Can we get a new microphone here? Or this thing sounds awfully
Unless
loud.
you do something about the A's or the Giants, we don't know about.
Does anybody have any idea? Sorry, Dick. Does anybody have any idea why I've got the number 611 up there? Okay, I've only got 8 minutes, so since there are no guesses. Well, it's close. Okay, so the reason I've got the number 611 up there is in California, from the time you miss your first mortgage payment, on average it takes 611 days before you get foreclosed on. Now you can see in some other areas it actually takes longer. 40% of the people who are in default right now, the homeowners, have not made a mortgage payment in the past 2 years. So I just think about this and I think, man, how much money could I save if I just quit making my mortgage payment? I mean, my credit would be ruined, but I could like take that amount of cash and go back to Kansas and probably buy a couple houses. So that is definitely affecting our market. What else is affecting our market? Some of the lenders in the room might be familiar with this. 2 million loan rejections nationwide. California has certainly had its share, as has San Mateo County. Half of those loan rejections are because of low appraisals. I bet if I went around the room here, I could find several of you who tried to refinance last year and because of a low appraisal couldn't do the refinance. So maybe you had to bring money to the table to do the refinance. Why is that? It's because the lenders, excuse me, the appraisers really have a hands. It used to be that an appraiser had some flexibility. You could say, you know, okay, what kind of a number do you need? Yeah, we can commit at that if it's reasonable. Now they've really got very strict criteria that they have to adhere to, and as a result, especially on refinances, a lot of the appraisals are coming in low and killing deals. Also, 259 underwriting rule changes. Does anybody have any idea of how many business days there were last year? 252, I think. So basically, we had one underwriting rule change for residential mortgages for every business day of the year. So imagine you put your home on the market, you get this great offer from a buyer, and you're going to have a 30-day close of escrow. During that 30 days, there are going to be at least 30 rule changes, some of which may affect your buyer. So the chances of your close getting delayed is pretty significant. The chance of that buyer actually not being able to get a loan because of some change in underwriting is also a possibility. So it's just much more difficult now than it used to be during the boom to sell real estate. Okay, so the rest of the stats I'm going to give you are based on the Mid-Peninsula. So who were these buyers that we had last year? You see at the top there, it's cut off a little bit. 11.5% of the buyers that we had last year in San Mateo, on the Mid-Peninsula, were cash buyers. Now you might say, well boy, 11.5%, that's quite a few cash buyers. Actually, that's lower than what we're seeing nationwide. Nationwide, we're seeing 33% of the buyers being all cash. The reason that we only have 11.5% here is because of our price point being so much higher. We also have a lot of overseas buyers. I think Ann mentioned high-end Chinese coming into the United States. I've had several transactions this year, high-end Chinese coming in, paying all cash for property. So our market is driven very heavily by international money coming in. Tech buyers. Now when I say tech buyers, that's all the way from high-income, maybe programmers buying a property, all the way to maybe someone liquidating Google stock to either put their down payment down or maybe, again, pay all cash for a property. And then 30% of the people got a gift to help them buy a property. Maybe mom and dad gave them $2,000 or $3,000 to help with closing costs, or one case I had recently, grandma financed the entire transaction at a very significantly below market rate interest rate. So that's definitely helping our market, or driving the market. Okay, so the rest of the stats here. 21% of our market is distressed. Now what I mean by distressed is short sales or foreclosures. Fortunately, 2/3 of our market is short sales, only 1/3 is foreclosures. So we're not hit as heavily as some of the other areas. Now you might look at this number and say, man, 21% when historically we're only at 5%. It's a lot better. Does anybody own property in Sacramento right now? When you look at Sacramento, you're talking maybe 80% of the market is some kind of distressed sale. So we're really not that bad off. And most of those sales are taking place in the midpoint of the price range. 200,000 to 800,000. Once you get above $1.2 million, there's almost nothing to speak of as far as distressed sale. And that's pretty much standard for the rest of the country. The higher end markets are really not affected by the downturn or the foreclosures. Here's something that the people from the county are probably pretty interested in. If you look at the number of closed transactions in 2004 versus 2011, you can see we're selling 36.9% fewer homes than we did during the boom. So that definitely is affecting the transfer taxes for the county. Another thing that's affecting it, and this is affecting all of us, is pricing is down by 15%. Now, you look at that and say, man, 15%, our prices are really off. And again, this is just for the Mid-Peninsula. The high point in our market was 2007. We're down 15% in 2011 from that. It's probably worse than this number makes it seem. If anybody in here owns a condo or is trying to sell a condo this year, you know the condo market is really, really hurt. So if we take the condos out of that, we're down maybe 8 or 9% for single-family homes. If you look at some of the better neighborhoods, they're only down 4 or 5%. So there is a little bit of a recovery going on in terms of single-family homes. Condos, maybe you're starting to flatten out a little bit. Okay, here's my projection for 2012. And I want to make sure that I hold this up. Okay, this is my big if. My projections will come true if interest rates stay low. Now I know they're projected to stay at about the same rate through 2012. If they do, then some of these things I think are going to come true. This chart right here tells you the available number of properties for sale since 2003. You can see primarily they have decreased. So a decreasing demand, an increasing supply because of the interest rates is probably going to stabilize our market and maybe help us rebound a little bit. Okay, so we're going to have more cash buyers, overseas buyers, tech buyers, and so forth. Lenders are going to loosen their lending criteria. Some of the lenders in the room here might tell you that the refinancing boom is over. Anybody who could refinance last year did refinance it. Lenders are going to have to look for new clients this year. So what they're going to have to do is loosen some of the lending criteria to get more clients. So I think that's going to help the market. You're going to see a slight increase in the number of sales. If the interest rates stay where they are, prices are going to be flat, and we're going to have a steady number of short sales and foreclosures. We don't have to worry about the shadow inventory. I know everybody has been talking about that for years. We really don't have that much of a shadow inventory or properties owned by banks that haven't been released to the market yet. And our demand is low, or our supply is low enough right now that even if we did have some foreclosures released, it's probably not going to have much of an impact on our market. And the last thing I didn't put up here, I got this to you I added this after I got this to you. Buyers are very, very picky right now. So if you have any kind of a challenge to the property, or if the property is maybe slightly above market, you're going to find that buyers are going to be very, very price sensitive. So those are my projections for 2012. I guess invite me back up here next year to see if any of these things came true.